everybody, this is Blade from the Hidden Blade channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about why I think Amiibos are amazing. First of all, Amiibos are Nintendo's way, or were Nintendo's way, of really getting into the Toys to Life market. And what I mean by that is this is Nintendo making awesome figures of their most famous characters, like Mario, Link, and even side characters like a Goomba has an Amiibo, which is incredible. You would never suspect that a side character like Goomba, Toad, or even Koopa Troopa would get their own Amiibo, his own awesome figure that's compatible with a couple of games. That's pretty neat. You really wouldn't consider that. You would only think, oh, but Nintendo's big main characters like Mario. Mario has a couple of Amiibo to his name. He has Super Mario, Golden Mario, Cat Mario, Mario Party Mario, Smash Bros. Mario, and Wedding Mario. There are tons of Marios, but at the same time, Nintendo just isn't doing their main characters, and you really gotta appreciate that. Because I know there's some people who aren't the biggest fan of main characters, but side characters they probably pretty enjoy. And one day, I'd actually really enjoy to see some of the older Paper Mario characters get their own Amiibo. Because I know a lot of people really adore a lot of those side characters and your friends and companions in games like 1,000 Year Door or Paper Mario 64. And all of these Amiibo, only retailing for $13, that's a pretty good price. If you've seen some pictures of massive Amiibo collections, it is insane! You really gotta thank those guys for what they've done, because all that time and money spent to get all of these Amiibos, it's just incredible. You really wouldn't think, oh hey, I'm gonna go out and wait in line for a figurine? A limited edition new console like the Super Mario Switch would make sense, but a Mario Amiibo, and they have all of them? That's really impressive, and one day I would love to see all of the Amiibo, except they're separated from their bases, so you only have like the figure part, and they're all set up in like a cool diorama, similar to what people do with figures. Second of all, the functionality of these Amiibo. These are amazing. The Smash Bros. Is the best example. All of these Amiibo, if they're a main character or a DLC character, can fight alongside you, and you can level up and train them, which I think is a really cool way to just spend an afternoon, as I have mentioned in my previous video, which I do recommend you watch before this one, so you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. But sadly, some Amiibo, as like the Steve Amiibo, can't really do too much outside of Smash Bros. It's coming out specifically for Smash Bros. And Minecraft is not going to have Amiibo support because it's a multi-platform game. Nintendo's not going to add anything special to the Minecraft version of Switch, so the Amiibo's only going to be able to be trained in Smash Bros., which I find a little bit disappointing, because I would have loved like some sort of Ender Dragon boss or some more spirits that were unlocked. But I get people would get a little bit upset because of the Amiibo paywall. It would be a bit annoying for having $13 just to get some what? Spirits? Who wants a spirit? But still, I would have liked to see a little bit more. But I know some Amiibo, like Wedding Mario, has functionality with over 40 games, which is insane for one figure. And as I mentioned, these retailed for $13 in over 40 games with who knows how many hours of content. That's pretty impressive. Lastly, the collectability of these things. Amiibo collections are decently cool. If you've seen one in real life, you'd be shocked. And currently, I'm working on building my own. I don't have too many Amiibo at this current point, but one day I really do wish I could have every Amiibo, and that I could set them up in a sick collection. Because I know a lot of people like have Amiibo collections, but they don't really take the time to appreciate them. They really like collecting Amiibo, but they don't just sit down and look at it. They don't have the finer appreciation for it. But if you do, that's super impressive, and I have to commend you for it. Because the fact that you were able to spend all that time, all that money, all that effort just to get a figurine, as I mentioned before, that's incredible. And even if I only had the Smash Amiibo, I'd be happy someday. And if you like Nintendo and you like figurines, I think that you'll like collecting Amiibo, and I say you should start. And if you're not a big fan of going up and checking if they're being scalped or not, because a lot of them have been released and they're not being used as much. If you're not into that, I would recommend the World of Nintendo line, which is Nintendo toys. You can set some sick dioramas up, and if you want inspiration, I suggest going on Reddit and checking out World of Nintendo. They have some pretty cool dioramas on there, and a lot of people share their collecting tips. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up for today, everybody. Thank you for watching. This has been Blade from the Hidden Blade channel. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!